American filmmaker James Gunn is known for his work on several hit movies such as The Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy, but it looks like this hit director has something else on his sleeve. For today's episode, we'll be sharing with you what we know of James Gunn as he teases a secret DC project he's already working on. Plus, get to know his best movies according to Rotten Tomatoes only here in today's video. By exposing his Spotify Wrapped for the past year, DC Studios co-head James Gunn hinted at a very secret DC project he's already working on. A super secret DC Universe project that James Gunn is already working on is hinted at before being dismissed by Disney and joining DC for the Suicide Squad and the HBO Max spinoff Peacemaker. Gunn was most known for his work on Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Last month, Gunn and Peter Safran were named co-heads of the newly renamed DC Studios. Since taking the position, Gunn has hinted at his plans for the new DC Universe. Gunn's contract calls for him to continue directing films sometimes, even though he will serve largely as the creative director. He has been teasing fans on social media about a top secret project he is working on. James Gunn shared his Spotify Wrapped for the year on Twitter as 2022 comes to an end. Because 2 of the tracks of his top 5 are from Gunn's top secret DC project, he was unable to publish the complete compilation of data. Gunn shared his favorite genres, artists, and listening preferences, but left out his top songs of the year. Quote, "I want to share my full #Spotify Wrapped, but it has 2 songs in the top 5 from my next secret DC project, but here's what I can share." Gunn wrote in a tweet which also featured a photo of Hanoi as his top artist. So what could be this super secret DC project James Gunn is working on? Music has always played a significant part in Gunn's productions, from the awesome mix opening credits dance in Guardians of the Galaxy to the "Do You Wanna Taste It" opening credits dances in Peacemaker, so it's not surprising that he's listening to a few carefully chosen songs as he works on his upcoming DC project. Gunn left off the 2 tracks from his unreleased DC project, making it extremely tough to guess what it could be. Gunn's listening preferences during the previous year, nevertheless, might offer some clues as to what he has in store. Gunn lists sleaze rock, often known as hair metal or glam metal, and the type of music he used in Peacemaker. As one of his top 5 musical subgenres for the previous year, he's likely listened to several songs in the last year that will be used in the Suicide Squad 3 or even Season 2 of Peacemaker. Gunn has stated that it is a secret DC project and therefore it is likely to be a brand new narrative centered on an unknown hero. Gunn has hinted at some heroes who might show up in upcoming DCU projects, including Deadman, Lobo, and Mr. Terrific. It is not yet known which of these figures will be the center of his own covert DC Universe initiative. Since Gunn is quite active on social media, we should expect more hints about his top secret DC project shortly. Moving forward, let's talk about some of James Gunn's best movies through the years. It's only natural considering he's had quite an illustrious career in the filmmaking industry. It's not the first time that Gunn has put out a humorous work about a cast of outrageous people. The director's career is full of them between writing and directing, but they aren't always as well received. At the number 10 spot, we have Scooby-Doo. Even though Scooby-Doo may have a rotten review, it is unquestionably the most accurate live-action adaptation of the original material. It has tremendous chemistry between the major performers who play the over-the-top characters with no remorse, actual sets and outfit designs that are uncommon in today's movies. The movie has developed a bit of a cult following ever since Gunn gained more recognition for his work in the MCU. After all, the first illustration of that is Scooby-Doo. Given that he's so good at writing stuff for disparate groups of outcasts, Gunn's decision to make Scrappy-Doo the villain is the only major issue that viewers have with the movie, but others thought it was a clever way to defy expectations. Then at the number 9 spot, we have The Specials. As the director of 2 of the most enjoyable Marvel Cinematic Universe films, Gunn is a superhero movie royalty. He also saved the Suicide Squad franchise with a surprisingly engaging sequel, and he is also the CEO of DC Studios. But before all of that, he wrote a far more modest superhero film called The Specials. The film's intriguing premise involves following superheroes on their day off and concentrating on their daily lives. In a sense, it was ahead of its time because so many modern films and television shows are more sardonic and meta, but the idea was far stronger on paper, and The Specials failed to take off. Moving on to the number 8 spot, we have Super. Super was Gunn's second try at scripting a superhero film after The Specials, but this time he also served as director. The film's main character is Frank Darbo, a regular guy who goes by the moniker Crimson Bolt and wears red spandex. While Gunn's comedy thrives on that idea, it is also quite dark and, at times, emotionally draining. Most critics found it difficult to appreciate appreciate such a dark comedy because Super practically seemed to have no restrictions and was produced on a cheap budget. Next on the list, we have The Belko Experiment at number 7 spot. Battle Royale films and television shows have been more and more popular over the past 10 years. Whether they are as family-friendly as The Hunger Games or as graphic and brutal as Squid Game, The Belko Experiment, however, which was conducted in the workplace, utterly escaped notice. The Battle Royale film, written by Gunn, is about a firm that makes its employees engage in combat until only one is left alive. There is nothing for viewers to latch onto outside the artistic devastation because there is nothing audiences haven't seen before. And now at the number 6 spot, we have Dawn of the Dead. Even when it comes to films that Gunn wrote but didn't direct, his particular style of narration and speech are evident, and they are pictures that can only be described as being written by Gunn. It is less evident, though, that he also wrote the remake horror film Dawn of the Dead from 2004. The movie doesn't have any humor, and the screenplay is completely devoid of any kind of edge. Now, on to the upper half. At the number 5 spot, we have Terror Firmer. The fact that Gunn was chosen to compose Dawn of the Dead wouldn't have surprised his ardent followers because he is equally adept at writing horror and sarcastic comedy. The first instance of such is the Terror Firmer movie from 1999. One of Troma's best films is Terror Firmer, a low-budget, gore-filled splatterfest produced by the production firm. Then at the number 4 spot, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is still regarded as good, despite not being as good as its predecessor. In comparison to the previous film, 2 does several things better. To begin with, Kurt Russell's ego is a lot more compelling antagonist than Ronan, and Russell gives an excellent performance as a villain, which is something he doesn't do much. It features one of the best cameos in the MCU when Ego briefly assumes the persona of David Hasselhoff, and Volume 2's saddest ending is a risky choice for an MCU release. Then at number 3, we have Slither. Slither, a 2006 film, is another of Gunn's attempts to blend horror and comedy, and this time it worked wonderfully. The film merits comparison to other horror comedies like The Evil Dead. The film, which pays homage to 80s films like The Blob and Brain Damage, is about a tiny village that is overrun by alien parasites. Now at number 2, we have The Suicide Squad. Gunn intended to replicate his success, but in a more R-rated way, once stunning big-budget superhero comedies were perfected in their rhythm. The Suicide Squad's ability to acknowledge its critically panned predecessor, be shamelessly a sequel even if it wasn't advertised as such, and improve on the original in every manner was what made it so impressive. And now, topping today's list of James Gunn's best movies is none other than Guardians of the Galaxy. Gunn had to wait over 2 decades before he eventually received a big break. The big break came in 2014 after he had written and directed several low-budget films for niche audiences. Everything in Guardians of the Galaxy plays to the director's strengths, whether it is the collection of outcasts, the grandiose idea, the superheroes, or the comedy. It's almost as if he was born to write and direct Guardians of the Galaxy. And that wraps up today's video about James Gunn's secret DC projects along with his best films. So what DC project do you think he's working on right now? Could it be Peacemaker Season 2? Please let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and before you go, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on for more videos like these. See you next time.